Are you ready? Tonight is about family. The first gringo boy who smiles at you.
I never seen you before. You're not Puerto Rican.
Is that okay?
Do you want to start World War III?
Hola chicos, ¿cómo están? How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm very, very happy and excited to talk to you. I watched the movie yesterday and my jaw is still on the floor. I still think about it again. Goosebumps. It's just amazing. Thank you so much for it.
Oh, thank you for having us here and talking about it.
And David, let me start with you. How was it putting on the outfits and being on the streets? Like if it was the past, how did it feel? And just doing those amazing dance routines. I heard that America took 1 month. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it took a month. It definitely took a couple weeks, and it was a lot of different things to put together because it was the first time America was done in such a way that kind of united the whole Puerto Rican community, and not just the Sharks, but we went out into the street and the whole community was part of the American number. That's what I think was so beautiful about that. And being in those costumes, being in those, we were in a fantasy. We were lost in another world. We were completely immersed, and it was kind of hard to get away from that, to step back into reality and be like, all right, that's not our reality. It's great, but it's not.
I learned so much about just really what goes into making a movie, because I think something that was so incredible about the costumes and the environments, the cars, and you were just transported back in time. And that's such a testament to like the set design, the lighting, everything that went into that. It's such a cohesive thing that just requires so many people's talents. And like the work that was put in to make that was insane. It gave me such a respect for like movie making as a craft, as an art form. It's really something else.
Tony, we need you if we're going to war. Who are you? Friend or foe?
Yesterday, I learned that you have basically retired and then you sent your audition for West Side Story. What was it about it that made you want to come back to acting and to dancing and all that?
To get to work with the greatest director of all time.
Maybe only that, right? Maybe only that.
It's really simple. I kind of stepped away from the business just because it's sometimes it gets really disappointing, especially, and it's so hard as a Latino to have great roles and to share our story and to have a voice in this industry. And Steven Spielberg gave us that, and I wanted to be a part of that so bad, that's what brought me back.
I mean, speaking a little bit about that, I have watched about 200 movies this year, and there are no more than 10 Latino protagonists. What do you think that still needs to change?
It's hard for me to say, specifically, because I've been thinking about that a lot. And I've been thinking about the types of people that need to be inspired and the types of people that need to have access to the resources to get creators to tell authentic stories about the Latina experience, to get, actors that are able to, portray the roles authentically. There's a whole lot of components and facets to that question. What I'm really excited about is that this movie that we've done is so in the forefront of the mainstream, which is really, really thrilling to me. And I feel so honored to be a part of the conversation and practice of representation, because this, I believe in my heart, will hopefully inspire a lot of people. Young and older, to keep telling these stories and try to push this to the forefront so, everybody can feel represented. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. That's sort of there's a lot of components to that question.
Do you guys think that we need allies like Steven Spielberg, like big names, to help us get there?
I think that's like one of the challenges that we've been facing, is that we haven't had legends like Steven Spielberg give us a voice. And the fact that he believed in us and he believed in our community. And he was so careful to try and bring authenticity to this. It's really incredible. And it's just nothing but respect for giving us a voice and like, as Josh said, bringing it to such a mainstream, global world. So, it's almost as if he's kind of setting the example. He's setting the tone, and he's telling the industry it's time for us to represent these cultures, and not just the Latino community, but just any culture. This is a very important for anyone to feel represented. And I think he's just taken this huge step that people are going to have to follow now.
You know, I wake up to everything I know either getting sold or wrecked or being taken over by people that I don't like.
You keep away from him. As long as you're in my house.
I'm a grown-up now, Bernardo. I'm gonna think for myself.
Speaking of our community, I think that the Latino community is gonna watch the movie and have a different perspective about it than the rest of people, because we kind of live the injustices that happen in the movie and the prejudice. What message do you want our community to take away from it?
Well, I think the most important messages are the message of really try and understanding each other, try and care for each other. Choose love over fear, choose love over hatred, over division. That's really the most important message to me. And it's one of those messages that transcends time. And that's why the story is so relevant today, and it'll always be relevant.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Oh shoot, I had another point, but I just lost it. I'm so sorry.
Let me tell you, Josh, I'm Team Chino.
Oh yeah? Hey!
Team Chino.
Chino, go and get them all.
Let's go.
Yeah, there's this scene I love so much, which is when you're in the boxing ring, after this whole chaos thing happens, and you just emphasize Bernardo's a fool. I love that so much, because that's when you realize Chino is the smartest person in the room, and he really does understand.
It's also the first tangible, like, colossal shift that you see in his dialogue and disposition. It's like, I think it's genius the way that it's like chronologically filmed, because it's like, I think as an audience member, that's the first time you're like, wait a minute, I thought this guy was really nice. It's great.
Guys, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for the representation. I'm going to make a shirt that says Team Chino.
Yes.
Team Chino.
Somebody on Twitter made an account called Chino Defense Squad, and I'm so about it.
Wrong.
Dude.
Thank you so much for sharing the movie with us.
Such a pleasure, yeah.
All right, thank you so much.